I'm Dr. N.Senthil Madasamy, Associate Professor, Computer Science and Engineering. I'm going to tell you the topic on Introduction about Version Control for the one-grade course of DEVOPS Technologies. In this session, topics to be covered is Version Control of Model 1 Introduction. At the end of Model 1, the students will be able to explain the basics of Version Control, CI/CD, and AWS OpenStack VMware for DevOps. At the end of this session, the students will be able to describe the introduction about version control. In this session, I will cover the following topics. What is version control, why we need version control, and how versioning is done. Version control is a process of managing and tracking the changes to code, documents, configuration files, etc. We will do the modification to the project. The version control saves modification in version control repository safely. Version control is indispensable whether we are working as a developer or as a DevOps engineer or as a system administrator or just as anybody who works with text files. Version control cannot be left behind. Version control is something that we must incorporate into each and every project that we work in. Some of us don't use the version control at all. Some of us are not aware of its existence at all for those people. Let's have a quick introduction to what version control is. Now imagine that we are a developer working in a project with a team of other developers. The source code, let's say C or Java or Python, whatever language we are using, it contains multiple source files. Each and every developer of us must have naturally a copy of those source files, start working on the project, to start writing, to start creating, to start testing, and so on. But each and every developer is working on his or her own piece of code. Alright, somebody, if it's maybe a web application, for example, somebody is working the front page, somebody is working on the about page, somebody is working in the user authentication page, and so on. But at the end, this code must be merged together in order for application to be tested very simple. So how is this happen? Well, the way I see it is that each and every developer will have his own copy compared with other versions that are with other developers, and then some sort of copying, pasting may occur, so that the whole application is brought together and tested. Imagine that the pain of doing this. If something wrong happened and we want to revert to the old version of the application or the website, we want to get back a couple of steps. If we were not cautious and didn't take a backup for our application, we will be in big problem. We will have to maybe rewrite the whole application again. This is a lot of time to waste a lot of effort. So version control will give as a way to track our changes, a way to keep branches of our code that you can switch from one branch to another. If we want to add a new feature and don't want to mess with master code, or if only main code, the application, we can just create a new branch for ourselves, work on it and test it. Once we are sure that everything is working correctly and the day application is working as it should be, you can merge those changes of code with appropriate permissions and appropriate supervision from whoever is responsible for supervising the whole application. We can merge those changes back to master code. Also, each and every developer can have the newest copy of code that will load it from what's called repository, the version control repository. So we shall always have the latest code, so we can continue from where your follow developers left. That is just very efficient, and that's why the version control is indispensable for every developer or every system administrator or just anybody who working with test files. In this diagram, if we are doing the modification in the base file under version 1, v1.0 and v1.1. Under version 2, v2.0 and v2.1. Under version 3, v3.0, v3.1, v3.2. These versions of files will be stored in version control repository. Summary of this session is you have learned about what is version control, why we need version control, and how versioning is done. I hope that you are clear with the basics of version control. Part 2 of session 2 of model 1 will have the introduction about types and tools of version control in next video lecture. Thank you for listening video. Have a nice day.